Corey, I saw a headline, Tom quits Scientology. I wonder if you have any insight into this. There doesn't seem to be a lot out there on the internet. Also, considering what you said in the recent Mormon Stories podcast, I wondered how bad of a loss that would be to the church and what they might do. Do you think they would declare him? Tom Cruise. Okay, here we go. So, Tony Ortega, for many, many years, has been reporting about this kind of thing, and he noted, and I get this from him, that when a new Tom Cruise movie is on the horizon or is going to be coming out, they somehow leak this story about how he's quitting Scientology or leaving Scientology. This happens over and over and over again. And it's always a false rumor, and it's always leaked, and it's always reported on because, of course, it's Tom Cruise. So people believe it, and then they start thinking, oh, he's quitting Scientology. He's a good guy. You know, for that group of people who think that Tom Cruise is a complete, dickhead because he's a Scientologist, and not just a Scientologist, but an extremely narcissistic and abusive Scientologist who actually has taken advantage. I mean, this is on record that he has taken advantage of Sea Org members for basically what amounts to slave labor, in terms of renovations of his studio apartment or as a hangar, airplane hangar, his home, Scientologists around him all the time, servicing his needs. This is not a healthy relationship. And Tom Cruise knowingly and, fully takes advantage of that and has in the past. And we know about all the other stuff about Scientology and Tom Cruise, like the whole hunting for a wife for him and all of that. That was all real. That was all true. So there is this bad PR image of Tom Cruise out there, and his publicists and his managers and PR people are very, very aware of this. And that's why Tom Cruise has been, kind of muzzled and got the leash on, right, when it comes to talking about Scientology. He's just not going to do it. And the reason for that, of course, is because there's a whole lot of awkward questions waiting right on the other side of tell us about Scientology, Tom, right? And he doesn't want to go there. He has no interest in going there, and his PR people certainly don't have any interest in going there. So even if he does, it's not gonna happen. So this story gets leaked, whether maybe it's from the studio rather than, Tom's people, but wherever it's coming from, it's not something that Tom Cruise himself would okay. I'm very sure about that. I'm positive that Tom would not knowingly allow that to be leaked. And yet, I don't know that he even sees tabloids and media like we do. So I don't know that he even knows that this stuff gets leaked. Nobody ever asks him about it, do they? Right? So he might not even know that this kind of story is happening, because he's still, if Tom Cruise were confronted one-on-one about Scientology, he's going to start talking, and he's going to be very proud and very, like, hey, man, I'm a Scientologist. Don't be giving me any, flack about it. As far as how big of a loss you asked about, how big of a loss would be for the Church of Scientology, I can't think of anything short of getting their tax exemption taken away. I can't think of a single thing that would be more damaging to Scientology's public relations or PR than Tom Cruise leaving Scientology in a public way. If that became known and that was a thing and that actually happened, right? And if he started speaking out against it, which I'm convinced he'll never do, but if he did, I mean, that would be, Scientology would probably, I don't know, a third of Scientologists would probably just go, okay, screw it, we're totally done now, right? I mean, if he really got earnest about it and started speaking out, like if he did something like Leah did, oh man, that would be it. Scientology would be over pretty fast. Because he'd probably dish on some stuff that he knows about Miscavige that he probably shouldn't know about, that sort of thing. That's what I think would happen. I actually do. I think Tom Cruise is a big enough personality, here on planet Earth that enough people internationally would listen to him and listen to what he has to say. And if he said Scientology was shit, then millions more people would be saying Scientology is shit. I mean, that's just how influence peddling works, and celebrities are influence peddlers. At the end of the day, that's kind of what they are. So that's what would happen there. And of course, if he ever said a negative word about Miscavige or Scientology in any way, then of course he would be declared. If he left the church quietly and never said another word about it one way or the other ever for the rest of his life, then they wouldn't declare him. But if he left the church, I don't think Tom Cruise would particularly care one way or the other about whether they declared him a suppressive or not. But I think they would. And that, of course, would follow him publicly speaking out, right? If he left quietly, they would just don't ask, don't tell, right? Don't say anything about it. And any Scientologist who ever asked about it would be lied to. They'd be told, no, Cruise is doing this, doing that, doing the other thing, you don't hear about it much because he's so busy, blah, 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 sort of thing. They'd come up with some kind of shore story, right? So anyway, there you go.